All right, let's kick off our astrological energetic weather report for the week by just kind of reflecting on what just happened. Okay, this is what I talked about last week. There's so many great articles and thumbnails out there that have these at-a-glance references to what we are talking about. So you may or may not be overly familiar about this Pluto in Aquarius energy. But what we are looking at here is something that is setting the stage for the coming 20 years. It's setting up the new era that humanity is moving into now. So that's why it is so significant. And even though there's a lot of nuances as far as like it stepping in for now and then dipping back out, and Capricorn coming in, and then ultimately moving formally into Aquarius, Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, happening from November through 2043. Okay, so we're talking about the next 20 years, and you can see here just kind of overlighting this idea of tearing down the old, right? Aquarius is carrying this new age energy as far as breaking through those barriers and transformation and making these very significant changes from the old into the new. So again, a little at a glance for you to just kind of wrap around like how significant this is. And one of the things that I'm kind of feeling here is, it's interesting because I'm feeling this nod, this is just intuitive, about the fact that we've got this sacral chakra card highlighting this week. I'm kind of feeling this like, almost like Woodstock energy, like this revolution that's coming in through the form of expression. Unique, authentic expression, and the idea that that starts from, you know, the fire within us, which is in those lower chakras. We're talking about the base, the sacral, the solar plexus, lighting up in a way of, you know, really expressing your own unique, authentic spark in the world. And so it's just feeling very connected here to all of this air energy actually that's come in with Aquarius and bringing in this new wave, this really just bringing in this transformational energy for the future, you know. So I just want, and as I say that, I look down, it's 4:55 on my clock, so that 5-5 energy, just as it says here on this thumbnail, how seeing some of those angel numbers could be some confirmation for you in the very positive and significant changes that are coming in. Miracles are on the way. 5 is the energy of transformation and change. 5-5 is really underscoring that energy of really ushering in the new. And that, of course, in the midst of all that can be chaos and some confusion and, you know, disruption to the norm, right? Because we're breaking out of that. This is a breakthrough. So like I said, I don't know, I'm just getting this little wink at like Woodstock era energy, like the sexual revolution, this idea of breaking out and expressing yourself unapologetically and authentically so. So that's interesting. I haven't felt that fiery energy to this until just now in combination with our cards that we're about to dive into. But wanted to share this with you. And if you want to know more, I'm happy to point you into the direction of some really amazing content creators who've been putting out videos, astrological guidance, card pulls, and so much more, really digging into this fascinating and very transformational time that we're all so blessed to be here for. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's on deck this week energetically. All right, so our deck is set here. We've got the cards out to dip into for the week ahead. Let's just touch on some of the energetic weather. So we talked about Pluto enters Aquarius, really bringing in this very powerful energy, all aligning with the beginning of Aquarius season, which began yesterday, January 20th, really supercharging all of this Aquarian energy, which again is very much about beating to the tune of one's own drum, doing things our own way. There's a lot of innovative energy circulating on this day. So if you felt this weekend, maybe some bright ideas, some, you know, solving of things, finding again ways to do things with greater ease, sort of organizing and aligning things. It's just shifting from this very earthy Capricorn energy we've been in into Aquarius. So you could begin to feel lighter and more mentally clear. And especially as we build up to this full moon on Thursday, you know, really be thinking about getting some clarity on What's feeling heavy and no longer having a place to come forward, because that's what you want to focus on, releasing and shedding and letting go as we move through this full moon in Leo. So January 23rd, we've got Venus entering Capricorn. So for this week, we have Venus, the planet of love, entering into the grounding and stabilizing Capricorn. So when Venus is in Capricorn, it's a practical and pragmatic match. This is not about love being blind, but rather something to consider carefully. How are our relationships serving us? How are we serving others? It helps again with that Capricorn energy to create some structure and boundaries to those dynamics. So once again, great timing right before this full moon to really reflect on those relationships, how they're serving us. And we'll talk about that, especially with this Monday and Tuesday card. Like I said, she's looking like not too jazzed about that pairing that she's looking at to the left there for our first card. So we'll talk a little bit about that and how that could be getting highlighted there a bit. So then we have, of course, the highlight this week, Thursday, January 25th. My baby girl, Elena Joy, was born, but also the Leo full moon. So this is a vibrant full moon. This full moon is really going to lift the energies in the cosmic skies. So if you have been feeling a little lethargic or low, this could be the full moon you've been waiting for. And it is, in fact, the first full moon of 2024, kicking things off with that Leo fire. So there's a lot of inspiration and, no surprise, creative energy around this full moon. I love the fact that the 8 of Wands has come up as our Thursday card. How are we growing? Look at all that creative energy. Look at all that fire. Look at all that movement and action. So I really do think that for those of us that have been feeling a little low in our energy or a little overloaded, those 8 wands always represent to me having a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of arrows in the quiver. I don't know, those were all the corporate terms they used to use in my former corporate working days, where they used all those, skin in the game and, all those kind of terms. So it's like arrows in the quiver. There's a lot lined up that I think could be getting ready for some go time here, because we're getting renewed clarity around that to really, be inspired and let that creative energy flow. Now, some of the things you could do this week, do something fun, go on an adventure, do something off the beaten path, maybe even take like an alternative route home, just something different, switch it up, surround yourself with things that make you happy. This is also a really good full moon to release those things that aren't sparking joy in your life anymore. I know a lot of us have been working on clearing out clutter. And by working on, I have a lot of ideas and thoughts, but the action part has been lacking for me. So this full moon is speaking to this Leo about the potential to actually take some action. So looking around at things like clutter, things like stuff in your orbit that actually are no longer bringing you joy, that are no longer serving you. Something that could have been sitting there sort of like unnoticed on a counter or on a shelf or something, taking up space, collecting dust that you didn't even realize was there because it just became a part of the backdrop. Again, I'm really feeling the Tuesday card highlighted here with the 4 of Cups. That we have an opportunity to get rid of it, move it on out. So yeah, I'm feeling that this is a good full moon for releasing those things that no longer spark joy in your life. That's a little Marie Kondo, right? Like, do you love it? Do you need it? Does it bring you joy? It's got to go. See if you can use these vibrations to make some more room for fun and play in 2024 and do away with anything that's making you feel weighted or heavy. So that's reminding me of, we just came through that new moon, gosh, it's been 2 weeks already, in Capricorn, our first new moon of the year, which was so pivotal and so much about setting the groundwork and framework for all that we are wishing to bring in and the seeds that we're planting for the whole of 2024. So also think about this first full moon in Leo, the sign of the tarot energy 8, the Strength card, which is our corresponding overarching energy for this 8 year. So it's all very connected. Think about the things that you would like to do for more fun and play this whole year, not just this full moon cycle, this new cycle that's kicking off on the other side of this full moon, but for the whole of 2024. Do away with anything that's blocking that, making you feel weighted, heavy, or lagging in your ability to launch into those things. Maybe make a little list of things that you would like to do this year, a little bucket list of practical things that are just, like I said, taking a spontaneous trip to somewhere local that you've never been before, or taking a different way home, or, if you always get pizza on Fridays, maybe switch it up a little bit and have tacos, or whatever. Something. You're dangerous, you're wild. All right. So, I'm going to get deeper into this full moon, of course, like I said, in the Empowerment Pack reading. So you're invited to join me. I'll share some info about that. And of course, all of you that are already with me, stay tuned because we're going to be diving in this week. Then we have on the other side of that full moon, January 26th, Friday, Uranus direct. All right, here we go. Uranus stations direct, leaving us with no major planets in retrograde. Woohoo! So that means that we've had so many planets in retrograde for so long that there's just been this stop-start, spinning our wheels, maybe just when I thought I was one step forward, two steps back energy, this push-pull, that actually now there's some real forward momentum building on your side. This 8 of Wands and these 9 cups couldn't be more beautifully depicting this. And I'm having so many songs in my head too. Like right now I'm getting that song, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. Like we're on the move. I'm feeling this energy of like, now it's time to go, right? Like, so there's really some movement starting to happen, some direct motion where we can get things done, take new leaps of faith, get the ball rolling on projects that we want to get off the ground. So, 2024 is really starting off with a bang here. And hey, listen, I'm not here. I'm just here bringing the messages through, okay? We got this sacral chakra opening up, and now we've got 2024 starting with a bang. So be sure to use this momentum to your advantage in whatever way motivates you. Let's say that. All right. So then I'll also touch on the January 27th energy coming in with Mercury conjunct Mars. And also, how is it already going to be January 27th already? Wow. Even though, like I said, this new year has felt like, months as opposed to weeks. But it's just also fluid here. So January 27th, Mercury conjunct Mars. So Mercury and Mars come into alignment again. The first union that these two planets had happened back on December 27th. So again, little time machine, not that far back. If you were dealing with a tense or hostile situation at that time, you might find that things come around again to be resolved with that fiery energy, with that potentially combative energy, but you are able to look at things from a new lens now. Having come through, you can really measure that growth. You can really measure the expansion that you've had, having come just in that 1 month window, which is really amazing and definitely highlighting the speed and the rate at which things very likely you'll be seeing happen on rapid speed, and something that we've never had before with how quickly things are moving and shifting. So definitely feeling that here with this fiery energy as well. All right, let's kick off our messages from the cards with the Raise Your Vibration Oracle message, a little sexual healing coming up. The Sexuality is Sacred card is coming in next. Here we go.